Marlene Riddell, and welcome to Arts in the City as we celebrate Women's History Month. We'll have more throughout the show on the countless contributions women have made to this country. But first, we are coming to you today from Times Square. And though it has been sadly quiet here for months now, all that is starting to change. Live entertainment is coming back to our hometown. A 100-day festival is now underway, bringing pop-up performances to New Yorkers across the state. Here's a sample of what you can expect. You can follow New York Pops Up on Twitter and Instagram for the very latest. Now to the rest of our show, and another sign of life returning to our city, dining out. When COVID hit, it took out everything in its path, including our fabulous restaurant scene. But with the help of a Broadway set designer, some restaurants are taking outdoor dining to dramatic new heights. Mike Gilliam has the story.
The pandemic devastated the New York City restaurant industry, including places like crowd favorite Melba's in Harlem.
I had to assemble all 39 of my employees and sit them down and let them know that they had to be furloughed. It wasn't anything that they did wrong. They no longer had a way to feed and take care of their families.
But there was help on the horizon. Longtime friend, architect, and Broadway set designer David Rockwell got involved.
I love New York, and I felt like there had to be some way to engage and give back. And I think architects have the ability to imagine different configurations, and it seemed like a way to immediately help.
David says he was lucky enough to design restaurants before getting a chance to contribute to another love, theater, where he's had monumental success.
We've had a chance to work on shows from Hairspray in 2002, which was not long after 9/11, Kinky Boots, She Loves Me, Lucky Guy with Tom Hanks, which is Nora Ephron's final play, a season of Shakespeare in the Park, Central Park at the Delacorte, which was, I had to pinch myself getting to work in that space.
And he feels street life and restaurants make the city what it is, but the pandemic took that all away. Rockwell wanted to help bring it back to life.
Engaging the city and talking to them about how to safely, quickly, and affordably blur the line between inside and outside and create a safe, what you might think of as an outdoor porch.
They created a kit of parts.
The building blocks are pretty straightforward. It is a module that sits in the parking lane that has a series of subdivisions that create safe distance and a place for plexi windshields with ample ventilation above, scaffolding, a roof overhead, simple lights, and now a series of heaters, and street furniture that's welcoming.
David Rockwell, Dine Out New York City, came in, and it was like the heavens opened up. It enabled us to really hire back more of our staff.
They also focus on keeping costs down.
We worked with Melba and the Hospitality Lounge to analyze the numbers, and they made back the cost of that within the first week to 10 days.
It ultimately became a model for how whole streets and communities could work together, from Inwood to Chinatown. Rockwell says the city has been very supportive, and this is helping to fill the void created when Broadway went dark. Rockwell commends New Yorkers for their resiliency and sees brighter days ahead.
I think what makes the city great is what happens on the ground floor, the messy collection of life, and I look forward to that coming back.
I'm Mike Gilliam for Arts in the City.
Now, if if you want a restaurant quality meal at home, our next story is for you. I got a cooking lesson with Nikki Leone, the millennial chef. We made a simple but delicious dinner together, and trust me, if I can do it, anyone can. Hey, Nikki, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So I'm really excited to cook with you, and we've already, established that I am not a good cook. So we're gonna do something simple.
I call them one-pan wonders because these are some of my most popular recipes. Today we're gonna stick with chicken, string beans, radishes, and cherry tomatoes. Those are gonna be our main ingredients.
Nikki, while we're at this, millennial chef, what are millennials looking for in their cooking? Not being one myself.
So you know what? My whole brand is about taking the classic recipes and turning them a little bit easier, a little healthier, and a little bit newer.
Mine's pretty good.
Mine's really good too. I don't think it needs anything actually.
Hey, wow.
Right?
Not getting a marinade everywhere.
That's okay. Listen, you do what you gotta do. It's okay to get a little messy. Thankfully, I have a wonderful fiance who does the cleaning for me called the Millennial Dishwasher, that he does all of the lovely cleanup for us.
Love that, the millennial dishwasher. But I tend to like to drink wine when I cook, which is probably why I'm not the best cook.
Cheers to you. You know what? I feel like drinking wine while you're cooking is one of the most therapeutic pairings of all time, and I highly encourage it. And in my opinion, the total star of the show is the radish. You don't normally roast a radish, but when you do, it just completely and utterly changes the flavor profile of it and makes it like a whole new vegetable, and it's become one of my favorite vegetables of all time. All right, so chicken down on one side of the pan, drizzle about 2 tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon of olive oil all over the string beans, the radish, and the tomato. Then we're gonna sprinkle more of our fresh thyme over the vegetables. And then always, always, always season everything. So then you put salt and pepper over all the vegetables too. That's our final touch here. Make sure all of your radishes are flipped upside down like this, so that the flesh side is down. In the oven it goes. Okay, I'm gonna do chicken first.
Me too.
Oh my God.
Mine's
I
good.
can't wait to try this. Try the radish. Tell me what you think. I hope I didn't like hype it up too much. You're gonna hate it, but I hope you like it.
Wow, it's completely different than what I thought it would taste like. While we're eating, Nikki, let me ask you a couple other questions.
For sure.
There is an artistic quality to preparing and presenting food. Is it a creative force for you?
Absolutely. And it really is that outlet for me to be able to create and tweak and find these beautiful recipes that I create, and then I'm able to share with everybody else.
Thank you so much for this. My family thanks you for trying to help me in the kitchen. So much fun hanging out with you.
It was so much fun. Cheers.
Entrepreneur Eric Connor knows a lot about repairing old sneakers, but when he taught himself how to customize brand new kicks, his small business boomed, even being sought out by celebrities. Our Abby Ashola visited his Brooklyn workspace pre-pandemic.
So I was in Soho and I seen somebody wearing my shoes. They didn't even notice me at first because I didn't really start showing my face on my Instagram until I hit 10,000 followers. But I was like, where'd you get those? And they were like, oh, I got them at from some kid, Econ Customs. I was like, yeah, that's me. My name's Eric Connor. I go to Baruch College and I minor in graphic design and major in entrepreneurship. So what I do is I take authentic designer bags or exotic fabrics and take them and repurpose them into sneakers, AirPod cases, watch bands, lighters, rolling trays, pretty much anything that's an accessory.
Connors is a part of a new generation of custom designers who evoke the work of Dapper Dan. The Harlem native pioneered using high-end logos like Louis Vuitton for his original designs worn by hip-hop artists from the 80s to the 90s.
I have done so many celebrities that you start forgetting who you've done stuff for.
Connors found his own success among artists of today. His list of celebrity clientele includes rappers like Blueface and pop stars like Justin Timberlake, all while working out of his parents' spare bedroom in Brooklyn. Prices for his sneakers can run from $250 to $2,000.
I was fixing sneakers at the time, so my Instagram name was Sneaker Hospital. I'm really doing surgery on the sneakers. I'm cutting the checks off, I'm pulling stuff out, I'm replacing it. It's like going and getting a new hip. The money difference from customs and restorations was a very big gap. So I was like, I don't want to paint sneakers the whole time that I'm doing this. So I bought this machine and had no idea how to sew it all. So after the first month, I was like, I'm really bad at this. But I was just like, I need to just keep on trying. So I would try little like techniques, like I would put a little leveler right here on the machine so this way it can go and keep a stitch straight. And it took me about 3 years to finally like get it to the point where I was like, all right, this is a straight stitch. This is what people want to see. After I learned how to do the straight stitch, the hard part was learning all the curves. Everything that I'm making is pretty much artwork. This is my way of expressing what I think stuff should look like. I use all authentic materials, so I'm chopping up like their real bags. I'm going to the store paying retail sometimes for half these bags. Just try to keep it where I'm not copying anybody's products. I'm just doing my own. I actually just did that collaboration with Coogee and New Balance. I'm looking to collaborate with other brands, trying to make my brand its own entity and bigger, just new adventures. You know what the sad part is? I make all these shoes for all these other people, never make for myself. I have like 10 pairs. Every time I make a pair for myself, you know what happens? Somebody comes into my house, says, I'll pay you double what you want for it.
I'm Abby Ashola for Arts in the City.
While we're talking about dream jobs, imagine this. You're approached by Disney and Pixar to consult on their next animated feature. That is exactly what happened to musician and middle school teacher Peter Archer. Maria Vami spoke with him about his role in the blockbuster Soul.
What's your name, honey?
I'm Joe. I teach middle school band. Got it, go for it!
How does one become a consultant for a Pixar movie? How did that come about?
Well, actually, certainly not by my initiating anything, not my doing. The filmmakers, Pete Docter, through his research, he found me. He wanted the authentic perspective of a middle school classroom. And in my case, also, just the fact that I'm a professional musician and a middle school band teacher.
1, 2, 3, 4, stay on the beat.
It was a fantastic, educational, enlightening experience to work with Pete and the rest of the team, the consultants as well, Herbie Hancock, Terry Lane Carrington, and all the others. They came and took pictures of my classroom drawings and so forth. I was able to offer advice.
Like the movie's lead character, when starting out as a young musician, Peter never saw teaching as a career path.
My goal was just to perform. And finding my spark through music education, through teaching children, came by accident.
Peter majored in trumpet performance at Queens College, and then reluctantly accepted an internship to teach music.
I already had this notion that the kids would be flying off the deep ends, climbing the walls and things like that. But once I began to see that the children were responding and they were listening, and I saw the motivation, that my thinking started to change. Instead of the 3 days, I started coming there every day, and I stayed there for 34 years. It taught me a lot about life, about myself, and about what's important. There's more to life than just thinking about me, than just focusing on my goals. I mean, there's nothing wrong with practicing 4 or 5 hours a day, but when it's an obsession, as we have with Joe. And when you're blinded by not realizing the simple things of life, it's a problem.
I did it. I got the gig.
While teaching music, Peter realized he can not only be a professional musician, but also have a deep impact on his students.
There are so many stories I could share with kids who were struggling with different things, and through the music, through my mentoring, they succeeded.
Hang on. What are y'all laughing at? So Connie got a little lost in it. That's a good thing.
The film's positive message, Peter says, could not be timed better after all we've gone through with the pandemic.
It gave people a sense of breath, a sense of looking to themselves, actually, asking the question, wow, what makes me me? What's important in life?
For Arts in the City, I'm Marieva Amin.
Then I see this guy, and he's playing his chords with force on it. And then with a minor, I was, whoa.
We've got a jewel of a theater program to tell you about today. It's called CoLab. The mission, helping kids and adults with developmental disabilities take the stage and discover their individual voices. Here's Patrick Pacheco.
Give it time. It won't. It's a minute because inside.
We do rehearsals, and we always help each other. And the same thing on stage.
This kind of collaboration is a tenet of CoLab, a New York theater group founded 10 years ago. Since then, CoLab has helped over 1,000 actors with developmental disabilities.
It's a really great space for people to feel self-confidence and to self-actualize and to just actually create meaningful relationships with others. And I think also that the sort of playfulness of theater, and that is a space to be someone new, it is a space to be silly, it's a space to be serious and emotional, right? And all of those things are welcome.
That welcome is all-inclusive and extended free of charge to actors age 9 and above and all levels of ability. They mingle together in classes offering dance, improv, writing, and puppetry. The goal is...
I think it's fun.
Fun, as in the dance warm-ups, which are a particular favorite. But there is also the goal of performances created by the actor themselves with the help of staff, such as Let's Go, this year's original musical presented virtually because of the pandemic. The show provides a window into just how richly imaginative these actors can be. For parents of the participants, it is often a revelation.
It is unlike anywhere else. And as a family member of a loved one, where things are so hard every day, to have a space like this where he's so happy and we feel so much fun in the air and to have a creative outlet.
When people are valued for their unique contributions and talents, the benefits can be as inspiring as well as empowering.
Now, I'm more outspoken, and also when I speak in public, I have confidence. I don't get nervous.
Building confidence among the participants can also lead to a measure of independence. For Lori's son, Jack, this is a goal that CoLab is helping to nurture through theater.
He feels proud of himself for being able to navigate it, for singing. And, Jack doesn't want to live with us forever. So I think the skills that he's getting here will help him live somewhere else happily.
When you're finding your voice for the first time, oh, what a feeling.
Actually, while I was on stage, I feel fabulous. And I was looking at my family my family was in the audience, and I wanted to make them proud.
And pride is the gift that Paul and all other actors with CoLab give to themselves.
Don't let anyone bring you down. Always Be proud of what you do and think positive and believe in yourself.
That's a lesson we all could learn. I'm Patrick Pacheco for Arts in the City.
Beautiful flowers are exactly the kind of pick-me-up a lot of us could use right now. Susan Junn shows us how one designer is doing just that for New Yorkers with surprise floral installations.
This isn't your typical flower delivery. That's because it's being sent to the streets of New York.
I'm feeling like if I need flowers and I work with flowers, then everybody else must need them too.
A thought that sparked a flash of creative genius in celebrated floral designer Louis Miller, whose marvelous arrangements have graced lavish weddings and events throughout the city for almost 2 decades.
Is there a way to kind of bring this out of the ballroom and out of sort of these rarefied circles to a greater audience?
The answer, Miller's now famous flower flashes, stunning floral art installations on the streets of the city, everywhere from trash cans to construction sites. Unlikely locations for beautiful blooming bouquets, but then that's by design, says the self-described creature of contrast.
There's a fancy ballroom and, then what's the opposite of that? An alley.
Miller's creations are no flash in the pan, popping up all over the city since 2016. Using repurposed flowers from finished events, Miller's team has gifted close to 100 of these creations to the city. The first around the Imagine Medallion at the John Lennon Memorial in Central Park.
People were posting it and then they were, putting their dog in the middle and taking pictures, or they would rearrange the flowers.
And that's exactly the kind of reaction Miller is looking for.
It's not meant to just sit there and necessarily be admired and not touched. This is not a museum. It's like I'm putting this out here. After I step away, whatever happens, happens.
The reception on social media has been mind-blowing for Miller's team and continues to help fuel this labor of love.
We'll get the flowers prepped, do some mechanics. The next morning, 5:30, load up the van, shoot up, and do it.
Miller says his inspiration ranges from in the moment to more meaningful.
Just after all, the buildings were all boarded up, and then just the irony of the city feels sad and lonely, and it's just, do this that kind of just brings joy. And then obviously a lot of the ones we did last spring had a lot of meaning because we did them in front of hospitals. So they were for healthcare workers, we've done them to raise money. So as much as we can pull in a charity aspect, even better.
Even though business is slow during the pandemic, Miller continues to spread cheer throughout the city. To sustain his business, Miller has created flower flash boxes that deliver fresh cut blooms direct from Holland to your door, with arrangement videos online. Miller also offers master classes in floral arranging. A flash of floral therapy. For Arts in the City, I'm Susan Junn.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
Another mood booster, the color of your clothes. Our photographer Laura Fuchs explores the powerful effect of color on your psyche in her series, Self-Care, Wear Your Favorite Color. Here's Laura's lens.
So during the pandemic, I found myself wearing my favorite color, orange, really often because it made me feel good. I decided to ask a bunch of my friends if I could photograph them wearing their favorite color. This series is called Self-Care, Wear Your Favorite Color, and it's just a reminder that simple things can be acts of self-care.
today, a preview of one of the stories we're working on for next time, music that is out of this world, literally. Donna Hanover will introduce us to astronauts who play music in space.
This is Major Tom to ground control. I've left forevermore, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way.
That is our show for today. Thanks so much for watching. A quick reminder to check us out on social media. We would love to hear from you. I'm Carol Ann Riddell. We'll see you next time on Arts in the City.